Good morning, everybody. Could I have everybody's attention, please? Good morning. I'm David Linehan, the CEO of the University of Rochester Medical Center, and on behalf of our faculty and staff, it's my privilege to welcome you here today. I want to thank the many distinguished visitors who joined us here today, in person or on the live stream, based on a rather cryptic invitation. I also want to thank our ALS interpreter, Ronnie, for his assistance today. We are here, Ronnie. We are here because a very distinguished guest has come to make a very important announcement. His generosity to the medical center, underscored by the fact that we are standing in the shadow of the children's hospital that bears his name, has been transformative. And as you're about to learn, that was only the beginning. Please join me in welcoming a man whose entrepreneurship, leadership, and philanthropy have already left their mark on our community and the world, Mr. Tom Golisano.
Yes, it has our family name on that building next door here. It's probably the greatest honor I've ever had. People thank me all the time, and I keep saying, no, it's the doctors, it's the nurses, it's the janitorial, it's the food service. But they still give me credit, so my honor. Good morning, Dave. Thanks for the introduction. 5 years ago, I think it was 5 years ago, I was approached by the university. They had a project in mind. And I kind of looked at it with a sort of a slanted eye. I'm trained to do that on the first call anyway. And it had to do with providing specialized care for people with developmental disabilities. How much harder it is for those young people to receive the care they need because of the situation they're in. And they want to do something about it. And I said, okay, let me watch for a while and see what you do about it. As you know, or you may have heard, I have a personal interest in this area. I'm the father of a son with disabilities. So I know firsthand the necessity or the difficulty of assessing health care for people with complex medical needs. I've been impressed with the sincerity and dedication of the people that have committed to this project, especially John Fox. I mean, he finally convinced me. It took him maybe 3 years, because I have a little bit of a history. I've made contributions for people to build buildings, and as soon as I make the announcement, they retire. And I was worried about John. I said, you know, this is a big project. And I said, you aren't thinking about leaving as soon as you get it accomplished. And he convinced me, no, he'll stay. Well, we'll see about that. Before I made this decision, I asked John and Scott Rasmussen, what has the university done along these lines? Have they made a commitment? Have they decided that this is an area that they are willing to finance and go forward with in a confident, determined way? And they convinced me they did. The university has been making investments with personnel, with dollars, with facilities, and so on and so forth. And it impressed me. It impressed me greatly, because I didn't want to be on the front end of this waiting for somebody else to. You understand. I'm also, have to say, I'm very impressed and happy with the previous gifts I made to the university, the hospital. Like I said, not a day goes by or a week goes by where somebody doesn't call me or calls me on the phone or writes me a note telling me or stops me on the street even about the fact that the hospital was so good to their children and took such great care. I said, make sure you give those people the celebrity status, not me, because all I did was buy a few bricks. Well, maybe more than a few. So, this new project, we really want to do something about health care for people with developmental disabilities. We also want to do research to see if we can make life easier for people that may end up in a situation that they get involved in. So, I've decided that I am going to match, at least come close to matching, the university's effort with a $50 million. You can understand. You understand why I choked on it. Yes, it's $50 million. We're not going to let them have it all at once. We're going to spread it over a few years. But it's committed, it's in writing, and it's going to happen. So I'm excited about this project and look forward to see it develop over the years. And I know it's going to do a lot of good for a lot of people. We may never, ever be able to measure the good it does, but it'll be great. I really believe that. So thank you all for coming, and I'll turn it over to whoever. Sit down?
Yes. Well, thank you, Tom, for this historic 50 million or 50 billion, if you'd like, to name the Golisano Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Institute. I, like you, have a child with disabilities, so this gift has personal significance to me as well. Your generosity is unparalleled. Your commitment to the intellectually and developmentally disabled, as we refer to, because we love acronyms, IDD community, and to Rochester is truly unmatched. And your willingness to step up and make this happen is beyond remarkable. I want to really underscore to everyone who's here today how truly exceptional, game-changing, and transformative a gift this is. In fact, this is the single largest gift ever made to the University of Rochester. Reflects Tom's extraordinary vision, bold leadership, and entrepreneurial spirit. Because you're right, you wanted us to show that we had skin in the game for this project, and I think John Fox showed that to you in every way possible. And getting the National Center for Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities was the beginning of when I think you began to really believe we meant it. I do want to note that between his personal giving and that of the Golisano Foundation, Tom's total philanthropy to the University of Rochester Medical Center now is close to $100 million. So let that sink in. Completely, it's all signed, sealed, and delivered. Tom Golisano's gift today will allow us to coalesce our strengths in IDD care, treatment, and therapeutics into one world-class institute, and we will do it right here in Tom's hometown. There is no question that those with IDD will have a better, brighter future because of Tom Golisano. Tom's philanthropy significantly advances our commitment to providing health care of the highest orders to all. It deepens our connection to Rochester, to our community, and to the surrounding region, and it builds and creates momentum, truly aligning with our values and mission-focused ethos. Tom really does exemplify our motto of Meliora and making the world ever better. Tom's exceptional generosity certainly places him as one of the most significant people to positively impact the city of Rochester and this university, and for that, we are all tremendously grateful. As I said when I first arrived at Rochester, in my inauguration speech, I said, we are a university of the community and for the community. That has been the history of the University of Rochester over its close to 175-year history. Tom Golisano's visionary leadership underscores this, and its significance cannot be overstated. So thank you again, Tom, for being such an essential thread in the fabric of the university and the Rochester community. I'll now turn the stage and the mic over to Rich Handler, the chair of the University of Rochester's Board of Trustees.
Tom, this is an enormous deal. Okay, I think it's bigger than you might even think. Okay? I think it's bigger than everyone outside around here celebrating what you've done. It's bigger than that. Academic institutions, research universities, medical centers, the community that is here that drives so much of the rest of the community of the world, okay, they're kind of under attack these days. It's been a crazy period of time. And it really takes someone to stand up and show leadership with goodness and pride and compassion, especially for those who are most in need, and show what we're all capable of doing together if we come together and if we are supported by someone with your enormous generosity. And for the university, this is a very important point. Thank you.
I have been told that we're taking a minute to fix the crooked banner. Can I help? The first thing we're going to buy with the $50 million, Tom, is a new banner. So thank you, Rich and Sarah. On behalf of everyone at URMC, it's my pleasure to join you today in thanking Tom Golisano for this transformative gift. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy, at the behest of his mother, Rose, I've been told by John Fox to always listen to your mother, signed the first federal law to fund prevention and treatment of IDD in American children. By the bill signing, President Kennedy observed, quote, "We can say with some assurance that although children may be the victims of fate, they will not be the victims of our neglect," end quote. 61 years later, we are at another historic moment. Today, we can make a larger promise that people with IDD will lead richer and fuller lives than ever before. And we can be confident of fulfilling that promise in large part thanks to the incredible generosity of Tom Golisano. Few individuals, if any, have given more to help people with intellectual and developmental disabilities get the services and the support they need in our community and around the world. Of course, Tom is also a shrewd businessman. He famously started Paychex in 1971 with a bright idea, $3,000, and a credit card. Today, his company is worth more than $40 billion. Reflecting on that, I'm not simply grateful for the gift Tom has announced, I am proud that he finds our medical center worthy of his investment. And while I can't promise the same rate of return as Paychex, I am certain that he has invested wisely. There could be no better home for the Golisano IDD Institute, a center that will set the global standard for improving the lives of people with special needs, than the University of Rochester Medical Center. As we stand here today, URMC brings together an unmatched combination of clinical expertise, training programs, scientific expertise, and community collaborations to support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I'll start with our Department of Pediatrics, which has provided care to children with IDD in our community for over 75 years. The department has been led by many giants in the field, pediatricians dedicated to helping every child lead their healthiest life through advanced medical care and community support. This list includes past chairs Bob Haggerty, Lissa McInerney, Nina Shore, and my late dear friend Pat Brophy. Their legacy is moving forward today under our exceptional chair of pediatrics and physician-in-chief at Golisano Children's Hospital, Dr. Jill Halterman. The department Jill leads provides the most comprehensive care available for children with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It serves more than 15,000 patients each year from across all of upstate New York. Our team includes pediatricians who specialize in IDD, registered dietitians, nurses, nurse practitioners, speech-language pathologists, occupational and physical therapists, pediatric social workers, psychologists, behavioral analysts, and many more. As our profession's ability to diagnose and treat childhood disorders has advanced, more than 90% of children with special needs now reach adulthood, and adult patients now outnumber children for some conditions. Responding to that need, URMC established one of the nation's first adult complex care centers in 2016. It supports a smooth transition to adult care for people with IDD and other childhood onset diseases. Today we call this our Transitional Care Medicine Clinic, and it provides a medical home where adults with IDD can receive primary care and specialty services in a convenient and welcoming setting. Oral health is the #1 unmet healthcare need for people with IDD. Under the leadership of Eli Eliav, Eastman Institute for Oral Health has grown as a regional and national leader in providing dental care to this underserved population. Last year, EIOH served nearly 2,000 patients with IDD from more than 40 New York counties in its community clinics, specialty care clinics, and at Strong Memorial Hospital. I'd like to mention 3 faculty members who are among the many Eastman dental leaders of this work and who have benefited directly from Tom's past support. Dr. Wayne Lipschitz, who leads our specialty care clinic and has personally performed over 3,000 oral surgeries on patients with IDD. Dr. Adela Planarova, who is Director of Dental Services at the Complex Care Center, and Dr. Marisol Aboyan, who ensures that future dentists are being trained to serve patients with IDD as leaders of our residency program in general dentistry. In addition to providing comprehensive clinical services, URMC is also a leader in the scientific understanding and diagnosis of IDD. Our Department of Pediatrics, for example, is home to nationally recognized leaders in the study and treatment of autism, including Dr. Susan Hyman and the late Tris Smith. The Department of Neurology has world-leading expertise in many rare IDDs, including Batten's disease and Rett syndrome. Before closing, I'd like to share one more point about the caliber of our programs. URMC, one of only 8 institutions in the nation to house all 3 federal designations for programs that advance scientific understanding, education, and community support for people with IDD. Since 1977, we have been a University Center of Excellence in Developmental Disabilities. The Strong Center for Developmental Disabilities is led by Dr. Susanna Ayatarola. Since 1988, we have been part of the Leadership Education and Neurodevelopment and Related Disorders program. This provides interdisciplinary training for health professionals and advocates to improve the health of individuals with IDD. And that program is led by Dr. Laura Silverman. And then since 2020, we have been only one of 15, that's 1-5, nationally recognized intellectual and developmental disability research centers in the United States. That work is led by Dr. John Fox, who will be speaking next. Well, it's my honor to thank Mr. Golisano personally. I've only been the CEO of the Medical Center for less than 6 months, and this historic day is in large part a tribute to my predecessor in this role, who recruited John Fox and made IDD treatment and research a priority at the Medical Center. So I want to thank my predecessor, Dr. Mark Taubman. And Tom, this is personal for me too. I'm up here today thinking of my Uncle Bill. And Uncle Bill lived with us, and he didn't suffer from IDD. He thrived with IDD, and I learned so much from him about life, really, and about how to deal with people. And he died just before I moved to Rochester, and it made me kind of reflect on him. And he used to do things like he used to make me go on these crazy rides at the amusement park that I did not want to go on. And I'm not talking about when I was a kid. I was like 48 and he was 72. And on Coumadin. Him, not me. But so this is really personal for me too. So I want to personally thank you. Obviously, I want to thank you as the leader of the Medical Center. Institutionally, thank you. But I want to personally thank you for this amazing, amazing contribution to our region, to our state, to our country, to our world. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to welcome to our stage the founding director of the Golisano Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Institute, Dr. Johnny Fox.
Oh boy, what a day. I spoke to Scotty this morning, and David mentioned Tris and Pat Brophy, and I asked the 2 boys up there to look down on me today and give me a strength to get through this without embarrassing myself. So I feel them here. It is my very great honor to stand here today to mark a truly remarkable moment in the history of this university. But much more importantly, to recognize a pivotal and transformative moment in our decades-long commitment to providing the best possible care to our IDD community. Tom Golisano, it is because of you, your vision, your dedication to creating a better world for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities that we stand here and say that we have massively accelerated the transdisciplinary work we are capable of here at the University of Rochester. With your historic gift, we are now positioned to build a truly integrative IDD Institute and to launch a whole host of critical new initiatives. This work, I firmly believe, would have taken us another 2 decades to realize. But with Tom's gift, it catapults us 20 years into the future, to the here and now. We can really take on the work that we need to do today, Monday morning. We'll start Monday. I also have an enormous thank you to say to Erica Dayton and Anne Costello and the great people of the Golisano Foundation for the countless hours you put in, for your extraordinary partnership in helping us envision the future of IDD services here at the U of R. It is your time and effort that has helped us realize a joint mission. Together, in a true partnership, we will be ever better in bettering the lives of individuals with IDDs. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, those of you who know me know I grew up in Dublin, and most of you have probably figured that out if you didn't know me. And I mention it because my mum and dad were nurses in Dublin, and they dedicated their careers to caring for people with neuropsychiatric and neurodevelopmental conditions. And so as a youngster, I had a first row seat to see just how our most vulnerable citizens were treated, what the standard of care was, the complexity of the conditions that they had to walk through life with, and how folks with IDDs had to cope with a healthcare system that simply was not adequately equipped to deal with their complex health issues. And this has had a lasting, profound effect on me. In my own extended family, as we've heard already today, is there any family that has not been touched by IDD? So the work is deeply personal for me, and I know that this is something that I share with Tom, as he mentioned in his opening. It is also deeply personal for my colleagues in the Developmental and Behavioral Pediatrics Division. Susanna and Laura, you were mentioned by David. It has been an absolute pleasure working with you and the rest of the great folks in DBP to realize this vision, and I really look forward to elevating our efforts to new heights with this institute. Thank you for your partnership. As a neuroscientist, I have spent my career devoted to the science of IDD, trying to figure out what's going on and how we might fix it. Rochester is a uniquely situated place where outstanding science can marry directly and quickly to improve clinical care. With the resources Tom is providing, we can now accelerate our move to the next level in being able to understand, diagnose, and treat these conditions. In the new Golisano building, we will support the growing population of adults living with IDDs. It will become a primary training site for healthcare providers specializing in this area of care. We will expand our dental services, growing our specialty clinic and telemedicine services, and we will provide cutting-edge advanced diagnostics, world-leading diagnostics, including whole genome sequencing, to leverage our understanding of IDDs. Having these resources in one place will massively improve the care of people with IDDs in our community and region. And what we do and learn here will inform medical advances and impact lives across the globe. And that is who Tom made this gift for. The people living with an IDD each and every day. The families who look for answers and ways to provide the best lives for their loved ones. This isn't for me, the University of Rochester, my great colleagues. We're here for you and to provide you with the best care, the best resources, and the best answers we can find. It's a truism that the test of a great society is to be found in the ways it treats its most vulnerable. And here at the Golisano IDD Institute, we will hew to a simple but powerful maxim that no person shall be defined by their limitations, but only, or rather, by their possibilities. we will take the philosophy that Tom Golisano has applied in becoming one of the most successful businessmen in the world. We will work hard, we will innovate, and we will think outside of the box, and we will not stop until we have built the very best IDD institute in the world. Tom, thank you for your lasting dedication to some of the most vulnerable people in our community. You are providing richer lives for people with IDDs. You are an incredible partner to us and other wonderful organizations. And in fact, I want to mention one that's very near and dear to Tom's heart, of course, is the Special Olympics. And so the other great institution, if you like, that Tom has given immense philanthropy to. So it actually brings me incredible pleasure to ask to come to the stage a Special Olympic athlete from right here from Dansville in New York. She has won 22 gold medals at the regional, state, and national levels. So please, let me welcome Emily Bruchoffer to the stage to speak to you. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Emily Bruchoffer. Thank you. I'm thrilled to see you all here today. Thank you for attending this special event. Today is a life-changing day for people with intellectual disabilities, and I'm honored to tell you my story. I'm 24 years old and live in Dansville with my parents. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I went to Mary Cariola in Rochester and then went to the Live program at SUNY Geneseo. Now I work in the kitchen at UR Medicine in Noyes Hospital. I love that job. Delivering meals to the patients is my favorite part of their job. It makes me happy to see their smiling face and brightens my day. But there's more to my story. I'm also a Special Olympics athlete and health messenger. My role is to help educate and support people with special intellectual disabilities in living their healthiest lives. You see, I faced my own health challenge. Adopted at the age of 4, I was diagnosed to failure to thrive. Thanks to the amazing teamwork at Kirch, I received the right diagnosis, care, and support from a very young age. My parents always advocated for me. However, many patients with intellectual disabilities and their parents struggle navigating the health care system. Here are some challenges my parents face. Getting the right doctors and appointments can be tough, and it takes a long time. Getting to and from the appointment is difficult, especially when you have several appointments in different locations. Most importantly, getting the right diagnosis and treatment. So let's celebrate this new facility, a place of hope and understanding and compassion. Mr. Golisano, at the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Because of you, people like me live their best, healthiest lives.